The Youth Employment Evidence and Insights Hub is a nine-partner Pan-African consortium led by the Pan-African Collective for Evidence with colleagues across Africa and beyond. In the spirit of collaboration and chipping away at Africa's youth unemployment crisis, we work to leverage our skills, knowledge, and expertise in a range of areas within the evidence-informed decision-making space. We do this to empower solutions for the Mastercard Foundation, both programmatically and strategically, in its Young Africa Work strategy, which looks to unlock job opportunities for millions of youth across the continent by 2030. By blending both conventional methods and novel approaches to evidence-informed decision-making, we support key decisions on a multi-sectoral level.
I believe we are involved in a very unique partnership and work. And I think there are a couple of things that set this project apart from others. And I would say one of the first things is that there is an intentional and a very genuine commitment to include the youth. So including youth in every step of the project operation and also evidence synthesis process. And this project does not only provide value to the perspectives of the youth, but at the same time, it empowers youth to come to leadership roles and take on leadership on the different operations as we see here as well, and also to allow them to shape the outcomes of the project at the same time. And in addition to this, I think another thing that makes it different is the effort that we're putting in to sort of prioritize communicating the evidence outcomes in a way that is palatable, that is relatable, and really speaks to the use and also is accessible. And I think another thing that really sets this project apart is the fact that we're working to incorporate the indigenous ways of knowing in the evidence outputs that we're conducting. And I think this speaks really well to the setting that we're in, which is we're working in the African continent, and it is one of the first, commitments for us to honor and emphasize the diverse cultural perspectives and that we come from, and also at the same time enriching the approach, the scientific approach too.
So it's been really interesting doing the work that we're doing in this consortium. And we are learning a lot of new things, especially in the African context. We have incorporated indigenous ways of knowing, which is uncharted territory. And we have had to go to social media, watch videos to get insights from secondary data, because that's what we're using. But I think we may need to go back to the drawing board to get primary data, as this is uncharted territory and the work we're doing is for Africans. So we need to know what they actually need, because there's not so much out there as we thought, which was, I think, very interesting for all of us to find.
This is quite an innovative project in the sense that incorporates youth voices. It's very intentional about also indigenous ways of knowing and through the living evidence. So it's very difficult to find that one thing that I would do differently. But I do think that we would have a lot of value by engaging the people that we are talking about, which is young people. As much as, yes, we do have the Youth Advisory Group, which is about 10 individuals that are assessing the project's processes and outputs in terms of being sensitive to gender, decoloniality, and youth voices. I do think that we would benefit if we were to reach out to a wider audience of young people, maybe in forms of focus groups, surveys, social media engagement. So if I were to change one thing about this project or partnership, is that I would be more intentional about engaging wider audiences of young people.
This ecosystem entails, a brighter youth, rather brighter future for the youth of Africa by ensuring equity and equality are realized, and also defining what it means to have dignity or dignified employment and entrepreneurship from an African context. It is not just an economic, political, or social case for Africa, but it's actually a moral one. So, for example, the consortium consists of African-based evidence firms, and which, obviously, being in Africa, a part of the global south, a shift from the north and dependency on the north, but now it's actually coming authentically from an African perspective. The other thing is the strong emphasis on living evidence, as well as indigenous ways of knowing. Now, this is very important because it's stories from an African perspective and the incorporation of the youth as well, the involvement of the youth, which is something you don't really find in evidence production across the continent. So this is actually quite groundbreaking in that sense. So the fact that the MasterCard Foundation trusts Africans to not only synthesize evidence, but to come up with solutions is telling about Africans in the space of evidence.
So you can see that we're really excited about this work because it's a sort of a visionary for us that brings together youth, Africa, evidence, and decision making, which we are all standing for. And hopefully, going forward, we will be able to widen our approach and also bring the innovative works and concepts that we're starting now to a better level.
Partnerships are very powerful. I think from this work, I've realized that we are absolutely stronger together. It has been amazing to see how different partners with different strengths coming together and have the magic that they're able to produce together. So I think my takeaway and what has been very amazing being part of this project is just realizing the power of coming together, collaborations and partnerships, co-design, co-creating, and all those beautiful things come together.
I think it's been really exciting how the MasterCard Foundation picked the team from all around the continent, the different perspectives, collaborating together has been really exciting. I feel like the team was handpicked for this mission as everyone has their hearts set on the Young Africa Work strategy. And I'm just excited to see how the work we are doing will contribute to that strategy.
I think we're very excited as the Pan-African Collective for Evidence to lead work on this project and to work with so many interesting and diverse partners across the continent of Africa and in the world. We have so many hopes for this type of work. We understand that the problem is quite big across the continent of Africa, and we are very happy to be doing our part.